Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, son passed away. If he was a liar, he was a false prophet. Remember, a liar, what does he do? He will try to utilize any opportunity to justify his lies. Yeah? But what did he do? He said, no, what has happened, it has nothing to do with no one's life and no one's death. This is from God. When you see it, rush to the prayer. What he did, he connected them to God, not to himself. That's not the nature of a liar. Another example, Prophet Muhammad had a friend. His friend was married to a woman he loved so much. So he used to follow her in the streets. Prophet Muhammad went to her, he divorced her. So he said to her, why don't you go back to him? She said, oh Messenger of Allah, are you commanding me as a Messenger of Allah, or are you trying to help between us? He said, no, I'm not commanding you as a Messenger of Allah, I'm just trying to help. She said, I don't want it. He said, up to you. If he was a liar, imagine his brother is my friend, yeah? And I'm a liar, I claim to be a prophet. And he's married, you know? Of course, I'm going to try to back him up. I'm going to say to sister, yes, remember, I'm a Messenger of Allah. God's going to punish you, go back to him. That shows you it's not the nature of a liar. Once he was traveling with his companions, 3 of them, yeah? And they were utilizing the same riding beast, taking turn. His companions, they respect him as a Messenger of Allah. So they say, oh Messenger, don't worry about us. You be on the beast, on the camel, and we walk. He said, no, you're not stronger than me. And I'm not better than you. Look at the humbleness of this man, you know. So we look to the Prophet Muhammad's teaching, and you look his biography, like what our scholars mentioned, it's sufficient to show you this man must be the Messenger of Allah. So these examples to show this man is trustworthy. One of the criteria of a true prophet comes with prophecies, all right? Now before I proceed, let me ask you this question. Who knows the future in details? Who knows? Except the creator. Yes, like for example, if I create this phone, no one knows about the phone in details except me. Now Prophet Muhammad prophesied many things which we can observe right now. You don't have to be a Muslim or Christian to observe it. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, there will come a time when you see the barefoot Arab man competing in building tall buildings. When Prophet Muhammad mentioned that ﷺ, back in those days, the Arabs, they were not known to do that. They also were known, the Persians and the Romans. So there was not any indication to indicate the Arabs will start building the tall buildings. Let me ask you, where is the tallest building in the world? Burj Khalifa, Dubai, you're right, Dubai. Now the question you should ask yourself, how a man that existed 1,400 years ago, والسلام, prophesied about something we can see right now. Another prophecy, Prophet Muhammad said, there will come a time when the Muslims, they will overpower the Persians and the Romans. When the Prophet Muhammad والسلام, prophesied that back in that time, it was in Mecca. The Muslims, they were very weak. They were scared for their lives. Let alone those Muslims, they would take over the greatest empires. Back in those days, the great empires that showed, divide the world into two, the Romans and the Persians. Prophet Muhammad is telling his companions, his disciples, his followers, you would do it. Historically speaking, from Muslim sources and non-Muslim sources, that the Muslim overpowered the Persians and the Romans. That is, one of the British historians said, this prophecy is so powerful. And there's many prophecies. For example, there's a prophecy in the Quran. You see what's happening now with the transgender, with the people changing their creation. Allah mentioned in the Quran that Satan will say, I will inspire, the meaning of the verse, and I will inspire them to change Allah's creation. This is what's happening right now. And also, and show you this, why we against it. I'm not inciting no violence against no one, but I'm a Muslim, I believe in Islam. Islam teaches us that Islam, which is oppression and is wrong. Why? Imagine you, two sisters, I said to you, look, I believe I'm armless, even though clearly you see I have an arm. But I believe I should have born without an arm, and I'm armless. Would you help me to cut off my arm? No. If you know, Shemsy, hang on, something wrong with you. You know? What about helping someone to cut off everything? Because he feels something, because he feels depressed. No, we should help him, you know? Because many people are regret it later on. You understand? We're not inciting to kill no one. No, we want, because I love good for everyone. And how I do it, like I'm doing it with you now. Intellectually, logically, breaking it down for you. What Islam is the truth, and whatever opposes Islam is a falsehood. So that's in the Quran. Likewise, to break down for you what Islam is the truth, to summarize everything, pay attention to this. Islam came to preserve 5 things. Islam came to preserve 5 things. Islam came to preserve religion. What does that mean? Islam, not worshiping the true God, is a calamity, it's oppression. And I will demonstrate to you what is the outcome of not worshiping the true God. That's why paganism, atheism is forbidden in Islam, because you start following your own desires. Yes? And we can see what's happening in our society when we start taking our own desires as God beside Allah. Yeah? An example of that I can give you, a man that came to ITV, Good Morning Show, he said he believes he's a dog. Yeah, he believes that he should be a dog, but he was born in the wrong body. So his girlfriend, what does his girlfriend? She gets him the dog suit. When he comes back from work, she put the suit and put him in a cage. And we have to respect him, otherwise we're a bigot. So I have to become mentally disturbed, otherwise I'm a bigot. No, I will become mentally disturbed, it's better. If mentally disturbed is me, wallahi, better for me. You know? So the point here is that's the outcome of not following the true God. That's the first thing, yeah? Islam came to preserve way of life, Islam. Secondly, Islam came to preserve intellect. That's why alcohol and drugs forbidden. Thirdly, Islam came to preserve wealth, yes? Money or other type of wealth. That's why in Islam, interest and gambling is forbidden. Fourthly, Islam, you okay? You're crying. Fourthly, Islam came to preserve, what they call it? Islam came to preserve not life, marriage. Islam came to preserve marriage. That's why adultery and fornication is forbidden. Lastly, Islam came to preserve life. That's why killing people unjustly, committing suicide is forbidden. These 5 things Islam came to preserve, sister, is if we do preserve them, we will have a good society. And Islam not just tell you to preserve them, rather there is a punishment for those who try to break them, or they can ask Allah for forgiveness. What is the opposite of that? Let me ask you. Alcohol, is it good for us or bad for us? Bad for us. Alcohol, of course, individually and collectively, is, you know, they say majority of crimes being carried out by people because of alcohol. And they say NHS is bleeding because of people drinking alcohol, the harm happens, yeah? So alcohol is bad for us, individually and collectively. Interest make the rich richer, poor poorer. So it's bad for us, individually and collectively. Gambling is bad for us, individually and collectively. Fornication, adultery, likewise, is bad for us, individually and collectively. For committing suicide, same thing. These 5 things in our world, or majority of countries, not just is allowed, rather it's been propagated, glorified and glamorized. Why? Because there are some people are benefiting from it. And those people are benefiting from it majority of times, those who are in power. That's why majority of times, those who are very hostile to Islam, those who are in power. So because they are rich, so what they do, they utilize their money to make Islam look bad through the media. Even though Islam is good for us individually and collectively. And the most good thing to have is when you worship God alone. I'll give you an example. Imagine you're in a house. I'll give you other eyes. Okay? Imagine I said to you, look, sister, we'll be speaking for a long time. Do you know about the eyes? You don't know, right? Okay, I'll give you an example. If I said to you, look, sister, I'll be speaking for a long time. I'm a multi-millionaire. I will give you a gift. I don't want nothing from you back. Nothing. If I give you a gift, if you do take it, yeah? I know you're going to say no, but if you do take it, if I give you £2 million as a gift, what would you say to me at least? No, if I say I'm a multi-millionaire, I'm just giving you as a gift, would you thank me? Would you thank me? Yeah. As a gift, you would thank me. Would you remember me all the time? Of course, £2 million is, I will tell her why now. I will give you £2 million, on a condition, give me your 2 eyes. Okay, so your eyes, that's good. I like the way it's direction. You see, that's good. So your eyes is more valuable than £2 million. So why are you not grateful and remember who gave you eyes for free? I gave you £2 million, you would thank me. You remember me. You know it, alhamdulillah. And now, the example I give you, if you want to buy a gift for your mother or your friend, would you buy a gift that you love or your friend love? If you want to buy a gift, your friend. Likewise, if you want to worship the Creator, we should worship Him the way He loves, not the way we love. Because the way He loves is objective. The way we love is subjective. That's why the Creator sent the prophets and messengers. What do you think what I said so far? Does it make sense? That's what I'm saying. You know what is interesting? I've been doing this for the last 15 years. That's why I memorized it. You know, alhamdulillah. You know, alhamdulillah, Allah accepted from us. That's, you know, every time I speak to someone who's sincere, respectful person, they will say, you know what, it makes sense. You know why it makes sense? Because the one that created you with the tools of sound reasoning and the sound natural inclination is the same one who sent down Islam. That's why it clicks in. It's like, imagine you have a padlock and you're looking for the keys, and everyone give you a keys. The only key that opened the padlock is my key. So who made the padlock? It's me. Likewise, when Islam comes to your natural inclination, clicks in. Naturally, you know, I should be grateful to my Creator. And a reminder will say to you that know for a fact there is nothing guaranteed in this life except death. That you're going to die. And Allah never put us here just to fulfill our desires. We are here for a greater purpose, which is a test to recognize one another, for Allah to implement His names and attributes, to show us His names and attributes, also to worship Him alone. So I say to you, do you have any question so far? So I say, if it makes sense to you, why don't you accept Islam and worship God alone? When I say, if I gave you £2 million, you never said to me, but I'm going to take it, then I'm going to think, you know, do you beat your wife? You never ask the question. You're going to remember me all the time, innit? So what about the one who gave you life? You know, if you're in a house and there's a fire everywhere in your house, you try your best to save yourself, and you cannot save yourself. And I came and I saved your life. What would you say to me? You would thank me. You remember me, say, you know what? Thank you very much. But I never gave you life. That's what Allah mentioned in the Quran. وَإِن تُعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. If you try to count Allah's blessings, you will never be able to do so. While we're speaking, we are benefiting from the Creator's blessings, oxygen in, out. You know, if you go to hospital, may Allah forbid, and they have to give you oxygen, either they charge you or they have to pay the taxpayers pay the money. But they have. Allah has given it to you for free. That's why on the day of resurrection, this believer will come and Allah will say to him, if I give you 10 times of this world, of this universe, and I say to you, give it to me as a sacrifice to save yourself today from the punishment of the fire, would you do it? He will say, oh God, yes. Allah will say to him, I ask you one thing when you're in this life, to worship me alone and to not worship anything beside me. But arrogantly, you rejected. So the outcome for you is the hellfire. That's why many people will say, why Allah is punishing people with the hellfire? We should not be asking that question. We should say, oh people, why you want to be in the hellfire? Because Allah told us. Allah clarified to us. Allah showed us the correct path. Allah said, إِنَّا هَدَيْنَاهُ السَّبِيلَ إِمَّا شَاكِرٌ إِمَّا كَفُورًا. We showed them the correct path and the evil path. So it's up to you. You know, you're not gonna have no one except yourself. You understand? That's why no one rejects Islam except it goes back to two reasons: psychological reason or a social reason. Psychological reason, rather the person's arrogant, or he says, you know what, if I become Muslim, I have to wear hijab, or I have to stop smoking drugs, or I have to do this or that. No, I love drinking alcohol. Or social reason is that if he or she accepts Islam, her parents will turn against her. But none of these reasons is valid before Allah. Because yes, respect your parents, take care of them, look after them, but there's priorities. There is priorities. There is priorities. That imagine your father took care, your parents took care of you all their lives, fed you, clothed you, everything. When you grow up, you abandon your parents, you disrespect your parents, and you go to your neighbors and you say, my neighbor, thank you very much. Are you a good person? Not good. But remember, you've been good to your neighbors, something which is good, but you're not a good person. Why? You're missing priorities. Likewise, being good to people, something good. But if you're not good to your Creator by worshiping Him alone, you're not a good person. That's the reality. I have to be straightforward. And I want good for you. I want to become Muslim, to worship God alone. Wallahi, there's salvation for you. That worshiping the Creator alone. If I ask you what is, I don't want to put pressure on you, but what is the reason that why, if it makes sense to you and it's clear, if you know what is the truth, it makes sense. What is stopping you to accept the truth? Islam.
I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, I will ask a different question. Imagine, this question is going to be harder to be honest. Okay, imagine, may Allah forbid, if you die today. Because like I said, there's nothing guaranteed. Yeah, nothing. And I mean, like, I know my neighbor just. I remember once I was back home. I'm standing outside my house. My neighbor walked past me. He's like, "Hi, Shemsy." I said, "Hi." Then a few minutes later, another neighbor comes to see me. He said, "Do you know who died?" I said, "Who died?" He said, "The father of Ibrahim." I said, "No, you're getting it wrong." I said to him. I said, "Maybe you're getting it wrong." I said, "Listen, he just walked past me." He said, "Yes." When he was walking downhill, he got heart attack, died. That person, when he walked past me, he never expects he's going to die. Me saying hi to him, I never expect he's going to die. That's what Allah said. وجاءت سكرة الموت بالحق ذلك ما كنت منه تحيد ونفخ في الصور ذلك يوم الوعيد وجاءت كل نفس معها سائق وشهيد لقد كنت في غفلة من هذا فكشفنا عنك غطاءك فبصرك اليوم حديد. Allah said, when intoxication of the death comes with the truth, this is exactly what you try to avoid. When you have a panic attack, why you start panicking? Because you don't know what is happening to you. Imagine when you're about to die. Allah said, وَالْتَفَّتِ السَّاقُ بِالسَّاقِ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ يَوْمَئِذٍ الْمَسَاقِ. When it says, meaning here, when a person is about to die, his life get mixed up with the hereafter. So he will be able to see the edge of death. So he sees the people in front of him, but he sees the edge of death. Then it's too late now. Because it's too late. If you're not Muslim, it's too late. You know, Allah always threatens the people with the hellfire. Why? Because the hellfire is an evil place, but the hellfire is for the evil ones. So my question to you, imagine you die today, may Allah forbid, what would be your excuse before the one who created you, why you don't accept Islam, that you think is valid before him? If the Creator said to you, why you reject Islam when it makes sense, it's clear. Why not worshiping me? What reason you think you will say to him it would be valid? No, but I told you now.
Yeah, I know you told
And
me.
if it makes sense, I mean, like that's what I'm saying. If you have a question, but now your life, so you can ask. You see the question he said? Look what he said. Yeah, this is a proof against you now. You said. So now you're alive. Ask that question because you never know. That's what I'm saying. If it's clear to you. Like my question, look.
brother, he come from Algeria, want to say salam alaikum.
عليكم السلام تاك اخوي كيف الحال لاباس مهند طيب بارك الله فيكم جزاكم الله خير خلاص. I would say to you that just look why there's only war against Islam in America, newspaper, in the media, in Australia, in Europe. Why? Don't you ask yourself this question? Why always there's negative things about Islam on media? Like I said, because there's a huge war against human nature, and they know the only religion that preserves human nature is Islam. And of course you ask yourself how man that existed 1,400 years ago, he's coming with his perfect way of life. You know, if I want to run a country, remember I need people I need help. I need experts in economy, experts in war, experts in education. Prophet Muhammad, Islamic countries is based upon one man's teaching. In everything, in educational things, in business, in transaction, in war, in peace, in politics, everything. Who is that man who couldn't read and write? And that's a miracle for him. He came with a teaching which many people, everyone that studied in Oxford University or any university will never be able to come with the teaching that Prophet Muhammad came with. That's why even the Islamic punishment, capital punishment, that some non-Muslims have problem with, I say it boils down to two things. Either they're ignorant of it or themselves are criminals. That's why they hate it. They themselves are criminals. That's why they hate that capital punishment. The capital punishment is not for innocent ones. It's for the criminals who want to destroy human societies. So if you have the time now, you can ask questions. If it makes sense, I will advise you. I don't know, no pressure on you. Today, 4 people become Muslims. 4. Yeah, 4. Alhamdulillah, yeah.
Think about the Quran.
That sister, you know, but Wallahi, she made me emotional, man. That sister, subhanallah.
Think about the Quran, how many million people has memorized it.
Yeah, that's another that's example I use.
That's the beauty of the
Quran.
Islam.
The Quran, the miracle of the Quran. There's many miracles of the Quran. One of the miracle Allah said, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّنَّا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. We have made this Quran easy to be memorized. This is a claim in the Quran. Can we verify it? Yes, we can. If the Muslims burn their scriptures, we can bring it back into the written form because it has been memorized by 100 million of Muslims, word for word, letter for letter.
Even they know Arabic. There's some
And the miracle of that is what? They don't even know Arabic, some of them. It's like you and I, all of us here, we memorize the book in Chinese, but guess what? We don't even speak Chinese. You think, why does that make any sense? The Quran has been memorized by millions of Muslims, some of them don't even know Arabic. You understand? Likewise, the teaching of the Quran, you know, about the legislation between you and Allah, between you and your parents, between you and your husband, between you and the man and the wife, between the environment. Like Prophet Muhammad taught us about the environment. He said, if someone removes something blocking people's path, that's from Iman. Imagine I'm walking in that pathway, there is something like a big branch.
Tree or something.
Yeah, a branch of tree. I remove it, because in order for people to walk through, I get a reward from it. Yeah, that's what Islam, in Islam, kissing my mother's head out of respect, kissing my mother's hand out of respect, I get a reward for it. You know, Islam, you know.
Smiling is also a sadaqah.
Barakallah, because smiling is type of charity in Islam. Smiling to your brother, sister to her sister is part of Islam. Huh? You don't have to smile, but it's time hard for me, you don't know what I'm going through. Wallahi, smile, man. Alhamdulillah, no, akhi. Alhamdulillah, ala kulli hal. If you want to know Allah's blessing, if you want to know, listen brothers, if you want to know the blessings that Allah has given you, go to hospitals and see people that have to get help to go to the toilets. Alhamdulillah, you can walk to the bathroom by yourself. That's why, you know, go to the graveyard, see the people inside the graves, and see. SubhanAllah. Make sense? You're gonna become Muslim? Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes to think, alright?
This is a big thing.
No problem, inshallah. Inshallah, no problem. What I say to you, look, this is our Instagram page. You can contact us to ask any question. Okay, inshallah.
Give her the cake example.
I told her about the cake.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what? I gave her the other cake. Okay, here, take our Instagram page. You're welcome. So the example of the brother, he reminds me of, you know, many people when they want to accept Islam, no doubt it's a big step. My wife is a revert. My wife became Muslim when she was 14. She was 14 when she became Muslim. You know, I don't know how old you are, but she was 14, she accepted Islam, you know. The example of the cake, if I give you the big cake and you eat all of it at once, what will happen? You're gonna get vomit, you feel sick. In order for you to feel the sweetness of the cake, you take it bit by bit, step by step. Likewise in Islam, if the most important thing is clear to you, which is the oneness of Allah, that yes, I should worship God alone, I should be grateful to Him, and yes, it makes sense, Muhammad the messenger of Allah, and that's the most important thing. Then step by step, yes, prayer, giving charity, sadaqah, fasting, but all of that is good for you. You know, I was speaking to a couple, a family from America. So she said to me, Islam makes haram a lot. I said, no, Islam makes what is bad for us haram. And I said, I will tell me something Islam made haram and it's not bad for us. Haram means unlawful.
Point single things.
Tell me something Allah made either is pure evil or has greater evil. Maybe it has some benefit, but the evil overpower or the harm overpower the benefit. Give me an example, yeah.
I heard over there recently that it's haram to have non-Muslims in a Sharia ruling country. Is that true? To have non-Muslims in positions of ministerial power. Is that true?
Non-Muslims to have what?
Ministerial power, positions of power.
Yeah, it's the Muslims to rule the country, yeah.
That's haram.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, because a non-Muslim, if he's a Christian or Jewish, is more likely he's going to be biased.
Do you not think that's discriminatory?
No, it's
You're
not.
saying your system is the best, but I would disagree with you.
No, there's no discrimination here, because why? You can become Muslim and be part of the ministry. Discrimination when I have to judge you about something you have no control over. Your skin color, or your short, and you're tall anyway. Or you're tall, understand? That's discrimination.
You say it's a choice, but I would argue it's not a choice.
It's a choice.
But if I'm raised in Croatia, I'm going to be a Christian.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a choice.
No, culture, but if you're in a Muslim country, they're going to expect you what Islam is the truth. So you have a choice.
But what about when Islam invaded Egypt, Libya, Algeria, Morocco?
Okay, now you're going over a different topic now.
That wasn't a choice.
No,
That wasn't a choice.
it was a choice. It was. Okay, Egypt is part of which empire? That time. Egypt was part of an empire at that time.
Was it Roman? Was it
Roman.
Byzantine? I don't know.
What the Roman did to Muslims?
I don't know.
Okay, let me teach you about something, because as Ibn Qayyim of the Muslim school said, there is no war in Islam against any people except the people started first. Prophet Muhammad sent ambassador, okay? The Romans killed him. Even our time, the ruling of our time, if you kill ambassador, what does that mean? What does that mean? If you kill ambassador of a country, it's a war, yes? So they declared a war against the Muslims. Now the Persians, they start a Muslim in Yemen. The Yemen was under Persian Empire. They accept Islam. What happened? They came and they started killing the Muslims in Yemen. Muslims waged war against them. North Africa was part of the empire as well. All right? Alhamdulillah. So now let's go back to the point. You have a choice. That's why this thing about even this discrimination. What is discrimination in one country is not discrimination in another country. So discrimination definition is not universal. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Yes, that's it. So it's irrelevant to try to use something which is objective to judge something which is objective.
I do hear that, and I'm agnostic anyway.
You're
I'm
agnostic?
on my journey.
You're on journey, alhamdulillah.
Yeah. But I've got one more question.
Okay.
I said to her, if I gave you £2 million,
Yeah.
obviously you're going to be thankful towards me.
Yeah.
Like, how do I know you gave me the £2 million? How do I know God created life? Give me the proof.
The proof is you
That's
as
like
the
a
proof.
massive part of your argument that is missing.
No, it's not missing. You are a proof of Allah's existence.
That's an easy answer, but you got to go more than that.
No, if it's easy, then why are you rejecting it?
Because you need to give me more than that. I can say the tree, but you don't.
The tree what?
The tree is proof
Proof what?
of your point of creation.
Yeah, thank you very much. You helped me. I accept that.
Okay, are you going to answer the question?
I answered you. You are proof of Allah's existence. Who created you? Gave you life?
Explain. Where's the scientific method behind that?
Wait. Scientific method behind what?
How can you prove that I was?
I can't prove it tangibly. Who gave you life?
An elephant man.
Who gave you life?
My mum.
Your life. So your mom, let's understand correctly. So his mom gave him life. So therefore your mom has the power to give life.
Yes.
Okay. So when you die, why your mother cry and don't give you life again?
Because I'm individual.
No, but you just don't say But you just
So
told
I'm an
me.
individual.
No, but you just told me she has the power to give her life. If I have a power to give a life to someone, I'll have a power to give a life to someone else or to give it to you. Therefore, your mother and your father, they never gave you life.
I disagree.
So why they cry when they die?
Because they love me.
To be honest, I have respect, yeah? I have respect. What you're doing, you're not really, you say you're on a journey, yeah? But what you're doing, you're trying to go against your nature, your natural inclination. You try to look for any excuse to reject the Creator. Do you know why? As a human being with sound reasoning, if this brother tell me I have a power to give a life, I say, brother, okay, you said you gave a life to him. He's dead, give him a life again. If he's sincere, we say, you know what, it's true, I don't have the power. I'll just prove to you it's wrong what you're doing. Instead of accepting it, you try to play around with it.
No,
Accept it. There you are, playing around with it. Let me carry on. I'm going to carry on with that. I have respect and then respect you. Because you are playing around.
I'm not playing around.
You are, brother. If your mother has a power to give you life, why she cannot give your life back again?
That doesn't make any sense.
That's what I'm saying. Thank you very much. Doesn't make any sense. Because doesn't have a power.
Doesn't make any sense.
If I have a power to give a life, I have a power. If that power, I got it for myself or I got it from someone else?
You got it from your parents.
From?
Your parents.
My parents. That doesn't make any sense because my parents, they never give me, they can't give me power because why? Sometimes as a son, I have more power than my parents.
Okay.
So how are they going to give me power which I have more power than them?
So because mothers give life, you
Brother,
want me
look.
to argue that she can resurrect people from the dead. It's not the same.
It is saying because who gave you life? If the parents give life, how come sometimes the child is born dead?
Complications.
But you said they give a life, brother. Make up your mind, please. Do they give a life or not?
Yeah, they do.
So if they give a life, why the children born dead?
Because they were once alive in the womb. They did give life and it died.
No, sometimes he's dead in the womb.
But it was once alive.
No, he wasn't alive. He was then he's dead.
No, the sperm was alive, then the egg was alive.
Yeah, but sperm, he wasn't. They never gave a life to him. Sperm. They never gave a life to him. Well, are you playing around? Have respect. Playing around. Because any human being, even have you look, brother. Doesn't make
That's an easy conversation.
Because why? She's sincere and honest, and she's using her.
Ask anyone here, I'm sincere.
No. How is sincere, brother?
He has videos before with one of the brothers.
Yeah, but brother.
Mansur and Ishmael.
Yeah, but brother. No.
Iftar, I'm very sincere.
No, brother. I can take you to Iftar, no problem. No, I take you to Iftar, no problem. Brother, no. The point here is, look, brother. Let's be honest. And now,
open heart.
open heart, brother. If I say to you, look, listen to your points. Even the parents will tell you, we don't give life. Come on, man, I have children. I didn't give life to my children. It was Allah. I'm just a means to explain that to you. Imagine now I'm in a room. There is the lamp, there is a switch. If I switch on the light and the light comes on, I'm not the one who made the light. I'm just a means. There's other things. Likewise, is the Allah who gives the life. Your father and your mother is a means. Also, what is a proof? Because Allah mentioned in the Quran. Allah mentioned هل أتى على الإنسان حين من الدهر لم يكن شيئا مذكورا. Is there not the time for the man to think? There was not even a word of mentioning. Now you have a life, you have ears, you have a sight. All of that came without a creator. That doesn't make any sense.
Perhaps what?
Perhaps it did come without a creator.
So let me understand you correctly. So you have just to say. So you said it's possible for something to be created without creator.
Yes.
Okay, take care of yourself. Have yourself. Me personally, I have to stop here because if something doesn't exist, how is it going to create? It's not even there.
When you say creator, we all know what you mean as in an individual thing that creates.
No, let me make it clear. If something, you say it's possible for non-existent thing to create something.
When you say creator, you mean God, and I'm saying perhaps not. Of course, it was created in a series of events. Think something being created doesn't mean the previous rock that hit that tree was a creator.
No,
when you say creator, you mean God.
With the creator, look at yourself and look at this creation. The creator that he created this universe must have knowledge.
Yes, he probably would have knowledge. Yeah, maybe,
so you accept the creator. Must have wisdom. You have a nose next to your mouth. You have a nose next to your mouth. Why? Yeah, don't. I'm not tricking you. Yeah, true. You have a nose next to your mouth. Why?
Nose next to my mouth.
Before you eat, smell food.
Okay, yeah, nice.
You have eyebrows
Good,
above.
I like food. I like food.
You like food. That's why you want to go iftar, huh?
Yeah. You can take me.
Yeah, inshallah. We go to the mosque.
Next year.
No, today we have a party in the mosque. You can come.
Maybe I got roast dinner at home now.
Okay. It's better than the roast. There's chicken and lamb. You have only chicken. You have eyebrows above your eyes. Why?
Sweat.
Sweat. Why sweat? Contains what?
Into your eyes.
Contains what?
Salt.
Salt. If it keeps going to your eye, will damage it. So eyebrows protect it. You have a joint in your elbows to use it. You have a teeth in your mouth. Okay.
I would call it natural selection.
Natural selection is not.
Because the guys without eyebrows died.
No, it is. Natural selection is not entity.
Not an entity.
It's not entity. Natural selection is not entity that exists by itself. It has knowledge to choose this one. Just this one again is by the atheists to play around with these terms to cause confusion. You know deep down. Have you seen the person who made the phone?
I'm not an atheist and I'm agnostic.
You're still atheist. That's what means atheist as well. Yeah. Because atheists are Muslims.
Look at the cameras. Did I say agnostic or atheist?
You say agnostic. You're agnostic. But agnostic, because many Muslims even fall into this trap. Agnostic is not atheist. Agnostic is atheist. If you're agnostic, why are you defending there's no God?
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Forget about that. Think about yourself, because when you die,
I am thinking about myself.
and it's no, but you
if I'm
play.
going to do something, I'm going to do it with full conviction. I'm not just going to get
But
swayed.
playing the
into it.
devil advocate, yeah. That when you are trying to look for any excuse, correct?
Doubt.
But they should not do that. No, you should be honest. Because, for example, now, for example of that, yeah. Do you have a phone?
Yeah.
Can I see it, please, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
I never took your phone. I'm playing devil advocate.
Fine.
Okay, bye bye, inshallah. Yeah?
I'm fasting you as well.
Because why I'm gonna play that instead of saying yes, I did take your phone. Show me. Thank you for showing me the phone. Here, the phone back. Okay. So what I'm proving the points here. That don't play this devil advocate. Forget that.
It's hard to when you've been raised for 20 years in this country. Okay, you have to because I'm not an Arab. I'm not from the Middle East.
Brother, there's a sister become Muslim here. You understand? What I'm saying, just looking at the creation, yeah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of this, yeah. Everything is connected. Order. You understand? What is today? Sunday. What is tomorrow? Monday. How do you know that? Sunrise and setting. Everything is order. If there's, do you believe it's everything? Do you believe it's random? Do you believe it's random? It's random? You went too far, brother. You should protect the sky. We need to protect us, brother, not the sky. Why? What I would say to you, that look at God's creation. Look at everything. It's connected. This shows you there is a creator without any doubt. Everything is connected. This cannot come randomly.
How come I have doubt then?
Huh?
How come I have doubt then?
Brother, having a doubt is not a proof against God. You know why?
You said it proves beyond a doubt.
Yeah,
Prove beyond a
because
doubt.
that's a whisper of Satan.
Okay, perhaps.
Yeah, no
Perhaps.
doubt.
Well, that's
yeah.
why I'm here. That's why I
Yeah.
come here every Sunday.
What's your name?
Oscar.
Oscar, nice to meet you. My name's Shemsy. Oscar, what I would say to you, look.
I'm familiar. I shook your hand before.
Huh?
You know, you meet many people, but I met you before.
Oh, sorry, man, I forgot. Sorry.
cool.
What I would say to you, Oscar, yeah? Maybe in the beginning you think I was harsh, not being harsh. Sometimes you have to be honest to each other. Like if someone tells me it's possible for non-existent thing to create something, I believe he's not mentally well. Or he's been arrogantly trying to play around.
Repeat that again.
Is it possible for non-existent thing?
For a non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To create something?
No.
No, thank you very much. So this something which is created as order and everything is impossible, illogical, irrational to come without creator. That's why in the Quran there is a verse which Allah rebuking people that believe that. Allah said, "Am khuliqu min ghayri shay'in, am hum al-khaliqun, am khalaqu as-samawati wal-arda, bal la yuqinun." Let me translate it. Allah said, "Would they create by nothing?" That's the first question. Would they create by nothing, or do you create yourself? Do you create yourself? No, it's a contradiction. Love no contradiction. You know, or what do they call it? Or they create the heavens and the earth, the sky and the earth. No. Surely they have no firm beliefs. You understand?
I'm familiar with the watchmaker problem. But in the same respect, who created God? If everything needs a creator, who created God?
Okay, that's a logical question. You know why? Because if we accept God as the creator of everything, okay, by default,
Everything is God.
no.
No, I'm backing you up here because
You're not backing
God
me up, you become
everything.
Sophie now.
That involves him, which is
No, if God is creator of everything,
Yeah.
by default God's not created. Because if God's created, He cannot be the same one who created everything.
yeah. You're right. You're
You
right.
see what I'm saying? That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, yeah, it makes sense, you know? That's what I would say to you, look, inshallah you're sincere, but you're playing the devil advocate.
It makes sense
We kick
if
the
God
devil
is the
now.
creator.
Yeah, but God, when you say God, listen, we call him Allah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now what I can make it way stronger, yes? Who knows the future in details?
Pardon?
Who knows the future in details?
No one. No one on earth.
Okay, so if we have, logically speaking, if I make the phone, I know about the phone in details, yeah?
If you make a phone.
If I make the phone,
Yeah.
if I make a phone, imagine I'm the first person to make a phone,
Right.
yeah?
Creator of the
No one knows about the phone in details except me.
Yeah.
I created it from scratch, yeah? Okay, and now Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salatu wasalam, told us, it's not rain, Habibi. Yeah, it's wind, brother. It's wind. Prophet Muhammad told us about the future, many things, yeah? I'm not sure if he was listening and speaking to her. He said there will come a time when you see the barefoot Arab man competing in building tall buildings. Competing?
I've heard this, yeah.
Yes. When Prophet Muhammad mentioned that, there was no any indication to indicate that the Muslims do it, because there's a difference between prophecy and prediction. Prediction, like footballers do it. Or other people do. So for example, I look to Manchester and I see how the business is going in UK. And I can make prediction in 10 years or 15
Why
years.
is it not a prediction?
Why? Because prophecy, everything that is happening against. That's what makes it powerful. Nothing shows in happening at that time. Nothing is showing that will happen.
Well, it's interesting because in every collapse there must be a rebirth, and Muhammad's martial prowess would lead the rebirth. So he could predict that, you know, one day
No.
we will be successful when we take over North Africa and Parthia.
No, it can't, because why? When the Prophet Muhammad predict that, the Muslims in Mecca, they were scared for their life. Imagine you go to Somalia and they are or Algeria, they've been besieged by Russia, America, England, but all the countries besieged, yeah? And I'm telling them, listen, you going to overpower the world. Wait. What are you talking about? We're besieged, man. We're dying out of hunger. People are dying. Prophet Muhammad, that's when he said that. In Mecca.
he said that?
Yeah, in Mecca. When the people were dying, his companions, when his companion came to him and said, oh, Messenger of Allah, it's too much to be patient. I can do nothing to you, but be patient. He said, but Allah, you will overpower the Persians, the Romans. Imagine the guy is scared for his life. Even one of the hypocrites said, we're scared to go to the bathroom for our lives, and this man is telling us we're gonna overpower the great empires.
I don't know, wishful thinking maybe.
Wishful thinking, but why except Muhammad did it? Why other people don't do it? Be honest. There's many powerful things. For example, why there is a huge war against Islam?
Nowadays,
Yeah, why?
because of the terrorism in the recent years.
There's no terrorism, bro. America and Britain killed more people than anyone else. Bush and Blair, do you know how many people they killed?
A lot.
A lot.
Millions,
So
yeah.
are they free or they are in prison?
Free.
So why there's no war against them?
A lot of people hate them, including me and you.
Yeah, no, a lot of people, trust me. I'm talking about why there's no war against them, why they're not being exposed. Do you know why? Because the only religion that is standing firm to protect human nature is Islam.
Where is the war in Islam?
In the media, always there's negative news
I
about
don't see that
Islam.
much.
Oh, come on, man. She does.
I'm exposed to all sorts of stuff, but that's
She
just
does.
me,
You know,
Perpetuates facing Islam.
I'm just gonna say something. Just need to be open-hearted, that's it, and don't.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
open-hearted is the problem. That's,
But you know, it's personal to us here. You know, my mum was near Borough Market when that guy stabbed 2 people and killed a police officer.
that's forbidden Islam, it's oppression. But like
No,
what
but you can understand, can't you?
No,
My
but-
mum was nearby.
But this has nothing to do with Islam. I'm not talking about your mum, brother. I'm talking about those who are waging war against Islam is not your mum.
They would
No,
disagree.
you misunderstood me. Those who are waging war against Islam, those who are in power. Okay? Why? Because like I said, the only religion that protects intellect, protects our lives, protects our money, protects our families is Islam.